Hello everyone, Scott Weir here from Pillow Partners with this week's live Ask Me Anything, our weekly live Q&A, anything to do with property, service accommodation, entrepreneurship, mindset, fitness, leadership, anything. But today we have a very, very specific topic, which is life-work balance. So we have some questions that people have submitted via TikTok as well, guys. So hi, we are on TikTok, apparently. Don't get involved, the team do it. Some questions on LinkedIn and lots sent to the social media team through, not LinkedIn, Instagram. I keep getting them mixed up. So this is going live on YouTube, Facebook and LinkedIn. Keep getting them mixed up. We have Grace behind the scenes here. Thank you for Robbie for setting all this up as always. And the marketing team are through next door. But Grace is here going to add in the questions as they come through. We have a few pre-submitted ones. I don't know what they are as yet, but it's all around life-work balance. Now, before we start, I wanted to explain that concept a little more. Guys, I'm sitting down. I like standing up when I'm doing these live Q&As, but we're all set up for podcasts. We've just been recording with fantastic guests, so I'm sitting down today. So the life-work balance, let's take it back to what was known as the work-life balance. Now, many, many years ago, there's been an evolution of this, and feel free to ask your questions as we go through, guys. So there's been an evolution of this many, many years ago when you looked at, I think it was Adam Smith's theories of divisions of labor. It was you will work when you're told, and if you don't, you'll be sacked and someone else will replace you. And again, very, very brutal for employees, all favoured in the benefit of employers. And as we mature the societies throughout the world, and certainly in the West, and we started thinking, well, actually, we need to treat employees better. And employees started saying, well, actually, do I want to work for X amount of hours a day, even if I'm making good money? What is important? And the concept of work-life balance came out, thinking, well, there's more to work than money and making bills. And as we evolved as a society, we got certain benefits with that, which meant we didn't need to go out and physically go into mines and do fields and stuff. So this is a very, very interesting topic, and I'm not here to talk about the history of it. I'm going to talk about the future. And we're taking work-life balance. This is where employers were making a conscious effort to do good for their employers, knowing that, hey, if I work people to the core and they're unhappy, it's actually, even if I get double the amount of hours, I'm not going to get the productivity which I would get for half the amount of hours with more productivity, knowing that my team were out there loving it, seeing the family, overall happy, great mental health, resilience, physical health, and that whole work-life balance thing evolved. And it's an amazing thing, because I think everybody was wrong in the good old days of making people work and focusing on employers. So the work-life balance is an amazing thing. I want to talk briefly, and then I'll let Grace put in some of the questions here. Let's see. That's your questions live. There we go. So please feel free to ask your questions, but I think we have some good ones. I've seen some of them. Work-life balance, I think, has transformed. I heard the term, I didn't coin it, life-work balance. This is what we're trying to do at Pillow. And this year in 2024, I'm doing this in January as I record this, massively changed our franchise proposition. And I'm going to share some insights into lots of research I've done on this. And if I share a little story with you, when I did this and I started Pillow many years ago, there was no work-life balance. I didn't care. Work was my life, and it was the entrepreneur's hustle mentality. And if you watched our podcast a week ago with Libby, we spoke about that hustle mentality. I was quite freakish in my brain, and I don't see work as work. I don't get stressed. I don't get burnout. So my brain isn't set up to be an employer. It's set up to be an entrepreneur and be a worker. But when we're building what I want to be the perfect organization, great for employees and franchisees, we need to really push on the work-life balance a lot more. Now, the very first franchisee that came in, Emma Wolf, essentially did get taught the way I did the business, worked very, very hard for a lot of years. And in 2022, she started changing things, massively changed things last year. We took lots of stuff off our franchisees. My thing was, well, they're getting great money for it, so why wouldn't they do the tasks? Emma's thing for work-life balance was, well, if we take the evenings and weekends, we give them 2 weeks holiday a year, and we spend lots of money, and again, it adds up to, tens of £1,000s a month to support the franchisees extra doing tasks that they should do. That means they will be happier, they will be more satisfied, frees up their mind, they'll be more resilient, they'll be more healthier, and actually they'll build bigger businesses for their franchise by working less. And if we're paying more money to support them, to give them a better work-life balance, then they'll end up making more money that will eclipse any money we pay in extra staff for evenings and weekends cover and the big customer CX, the CX customer experience team we've built here, doing more stuff. So we took a chance in that, not with a disagreement. Turns out Emma was right and I was 100% wrong. Emma was right to build that, and we've even evolved that into 2024. So that was a work-life balance. Slightly more difficult with employees, although we're getting there. But by the end of 2024, we want all franchisees will have the life work balance. Emma has put that into place as the Chief Operations Officer. But the life work balance for employees will hopefully get there by the end of this year. So I'm going to share some thoughts around that. So the life work balance isn't what life balance is. We do lots of work and we get some life back. I heard the term, the life work balance. That is the organization and the culture we're trying to create, the business opportunities for people. So I wanted to share that with you. Life work balance, flipping things about. Now, I say it's easier as a franchisee because you're making your own decisions. You're buying into a business. You're an entrepreneur. A self-employed plumber can have that life-work balance. As long as they make enough money to pay the bills, they can not work on a Tuesday to take their kids to school and go to the pray and the sports day. So the life-work balance it's an easy concept to understand, hard to put into principle for business owners because, hey, we need to work a certain amount to make money to pay the bills and build the lives that we want. So life-work balance, I think, flips that on its head. And as a philosophy, can we build opportunities, careers or franchise businesses for people that allow them to focus on life primarily, and it's not an afterthought, and by giving them that life part, then the work becomes the life, because my work is my life. I don't see work. I'm in a great position. If you saw the previous ones, I was on a holiday in Cape Verde doing stuff like this on a balcony. People say, "No, you're working on holiday." No, I'm recording webinars. I'm doing these. I'm speaking to hosts. I'm speaking to clients. I'm building the business. That's not work to me. That's fun, and that is my life. So we're trying to create something, not just business opportunity, employment wise, but mindset wise, where it isn't work, it's life. And why would you not want to do it? If I was an employee and said, you're going on holiday from New Year's Eve to 13th of January, and you need to work 3 days a week, that would be horrific. They would hate me. They'd resent it. They'd leave. They'd say, how dare you make me work? But if that was me and my employer said that to me, I'd be like, I'm not, that's my holiday. I've earned that. That's my right. But I didn't see that as a bad thing because essentially I was my own boss, but that was my life. And why wouldn't I? Because I enjoyed it so much. I enjoyed doing the business of pillow and all this stuff than lying for another day in the sun. A few days in the sun is great, but I see that work as life, and the distinction there, they do blend, but I have created a nice personal work-life balance and a perfect life-work balance. So that's where we're coming from today, guys. I want people's thoughts. I'm not an expert in this. We're finding our feet. As I said, I made a lot of mistakes, and before we started really getting people smarter than me into the business, like Emma Wolf and all the team here, we're building something. So I wanted to really focus on this today in the life work balance. We'll take your questions. We'll expand on that a little bit more. I don't know the questions that are asked, but I've preloaded some slides here, guys. And this is time management. This is training I did last year for the team. And again, this is going to get redone and reinvigorated. And this is going to be probably 7 or 8 hours in our training academy. So perhaps some of the questions will be answered. These are the slides from our training. Did you know how many minutes? That's how many minutes are in a day, guys. We don't want to fucking waste any of those. So again, there's training 8 hours of this. So some of the answers may be done here. I'll put the slides up. If not, I'm just going to talk, guys, and I'll answer the questions. So Grace has put the first question in, and please, if you're watching live, bang some questions in, or please let me know your thoughts. I'm not an expert. I have built this to the best of my abilities. I'm sharing my knowledge from being a business owner from 2004. Actually, I keep forgetting I had a business before Pillow. It was carpet cleaning, and time management was a big thing when to go out and clean. So nearly 20 years in business. In fact, yeah, more than that. So I'm going to bring you the knowledge today. So let's have a little look and see the questions. So what do you think is the most effective way to maintain a healthy life-work balance? So what's the best way to effectively maintain a healthy life-work balance? You're going to need two things, and there's big answers to these, guys. I'm going to keep the answers short and sweet, and I'll elaborate. I think there's two things here. We need buy-in from our family for this, and we need buy-in from our employers or our clients if we're self-employed. So we need to have an ecosystem and an environment that supports us and we support them. So if you've got a family or a partner that is never going to get on board with you working hard, and again, I was in the armed forces, very difficult that's a horrible work-life balance, because you could be away for 6 months, 8 months, could be in submarines under the water for 3 months, and 6 months never see your family. If you've got a wife or husband at home waiting on you, coming back is going to be very, very hard. I'm going to say it's nearly impossible. You could do it, but you will be unhappy. They will be unhappy. So number one, you need buy-in from your loved ones. Secondly, your employer. Again, there's a great book by Tim Ferriss. It's through there. I should have got all the books I'll mention today. The 4-Hour Work Week. Again, some amazing tips here on how to communicate with your employer to propose situations that are tipped to your favor here, guys. So that's what I would say. I think you need to proactively work to build your own work-life balance. Why? Because if you're not, you'll be dancing to somebody else's rhythm. You'll be doing what they want. So I'll give you an example based on the 4-Hour Work Week. If my employees came to me and said, Scott, I want to work from home 5 days a week. Well, actually, I don't want that as an employer, as a business owner. I want you in the office. I want you to experience the culture. I want to maybe hold you accountable, whatever I would say. So as an employee, you're dancing to what I believe is best for the organization, not the individual employee, because it's a bigger ecosystem. We could never make 37 people redundant because we're trying to work around making one person happy, and it destroys the business. So by the nature of things, people would fall into what myself and the leadership team at Pillow do. However, if you say, can I work from home? That might not suit me. But if you go to your employer and say, I believe I would be better serving the organization, I believe I'd be more efficient and be able to deliver more for you, Mr. Employer, by working at home. And the 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss would say, pitch it in a certain way. Go to your employer and say, I think if I didn't have the traveling time on a Wednesday, I would use that traveling time to work more, be more efficient, be happy. I'd see my dog, see my kids, and I'd deliver more in that 8-hour period than I would come into work. An employer would be stupid not to take advantage of that. And then you extend that to 2 days, 3 days. And then in the 4-Hour Work Week, Tim says, well, if you're never in the office, why wouldn't you ask your boss to let you work from overseas? And that method I've just explained very briefly, and butchered it, by the way, means that you could eventually go from your boss saying, no, I want you in the office 8-hour, 9 to 5, to working abroad in a sunny climate, never going to the office ever again. But it needs to be done in a way. You need to work towards that, because you need to articulate why that is of a benefit to you or your employee. 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. Thank you, Grace. Let's see the next question here. What do you think is the most effective way? I've just had that. Sorry, that's me. I've got all the tech behind the screens here. Can you share some practical tips on managing stress and promoting mental well-being while juggling a busy schedule? Yes. Managing stress, some great simple tips, and I want to answer these quickly and follow up. Again, when we do the time management, there's 8 hours. If I add that to the screen, there's 8 hours of training on this, and we're going to update this. There's going to be over 12, sharing all the tips that I'm going to give you here very briefly. Managing stress. Listen, very much like the previous question of dancing to the tune of the employer, I'm not going to dance to the tune of my body. If my body starts to display stress and the sympathetic nervous system is flooding with adrenaline, it's my fucking body and my mind. I control it. So instantly, I want to have measures to control it. Number one is breathing. It's the simplest thing, is controlling your breathing. There's things in there for box breathing. Let me see if I can find that. Probably too far away. I'll bring that up later. But box breathing, breathing in for 4 seconds, holding for 4 seconds, breathing out for 4 seconds, holding for 4 seconds. You can manipulate the breath. When you breathe in, you activate the sympathetic nervous system, i.e. you get G'd up, you get adrenaline, fight or flight. When you breathe out, you activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is your calming. It floods all these chemicals out the way. It makes your heart rate lower, all these things. You become calmer. So when we understand the neurology of the brain and the psyche, the biochemistry of the body, we can start. We're not at the mercy of becoming stressed. I don't get stressed. Why? Because if I feel it, I will do things. Time outside. So a little kilometre thing. I will go for a kilometre jog. Takes me 5 and a bit minutes, nice and slow, and I will be outside getting fresh air and light on my eyeballs. Time in nature. Fitness is a big one. So if I didn't go to the gym and have a training schedule and do fitness, my brain would not be as clear and as bulletproof as it is. Guys, nice and simple diet. Lots of really unhealthy people cutting about. How can you have a healthy brain if you've not putting good stuff into your body? It's impossible for you to be filling it through shit and Coca-Cola and crisps and Dominoes and hundreds of alcohol. And that's not what people want to hear. I want to eat Watson and shit and eat breakfast cereals and sugar and fizzy pop and kebabs and pizzas. And I want to be bulletproof and be a great entrepreneur. It's not going to happen, guys. You need to look after your body. Cold water exposure is a really lovely one here, guys. Pushing yourself to do it builds your mental resilience. Building your mental resilience builds your brain and your physical resilience. And you just won't get stressed if you do these things. They're so simple and easy. Nobody will ever do them, I can guarantee you, because it's hard. Oh, it's cold. I don't want to do it. Oh, I'm too busy to have a good diet. It's all lies we tell ourselves. And the final one here, guys, is get sleep. Your sleep routine, your environment, get an eye mask, make sure your temperature's nice and cool. All the things around this. I'm not going to talk about sleep. I do go into this in the training and the coaching of our franchisees and team. I want everybody to be mentally bulletproof and sharp. So there's some things, a nighttime routine and getting plenty of sleep, guys. Not looking at your phone. It's a hard one. Getting up in the morning, not looking at your phone, going out and getting 10 minutes in the fresh air, stretching off in the garden, looking at the natural light in the summer, but not looking at your phone. Guys, I could go on so much for this. Very, very simple tips. If I had to give 10 tips here that are super simple of not doing things, I know most people would still continue to do them because that's the way we are as a society these days. So moving on, some practical tips. Lovely. Next, thank you, Grace. Do you prioritize self-care in your daily routine? And do you think it's important for maintaining overall health? Yes, 100%. 100% do this. So I'll tell you my routine, and it's all around kind of self-care. I love getting in the office for 7. I said I don't get stressed in the last question. It's stressing me out sitting in traffic. If I had to go out for 9 o'clock and waste half an hour a day going to work and half an hour back, I can get into the office with no traffic if I'm in for 7. Now, my time and my circadian rhythm, excuse me if I butchered that term, circadian rhythm with the moon, I know my sleeping, I want to be in the office working. I'm sharp at 7. My productivity after I record this, guys, 3 o'clock, I need to bounce to go to the gym, and then I'll work another couple of hours at night. So I will do my, not 9 to 5, I'll do 7 to 3. So that means I prioritize. I know if my brain starts not being as efficient. Going to the gym just sharpens me right up. So self-care for me, I want to be in the office, no traffic, a couple of hours work done before the team come in and start getting busy, and you want a coffee and the chat and the office stuff. So that gives me great clarity. I get stuff done before people are even in the office. The gym is important to me. I used to go running in the old office at lunchtime. So yes, early to bed is important for me. So I like to go to bed early. Guys, if you like to go to bed late and get up late, ask your employer. If you're watching this and you work for me, guys, and you're saying there's people that come in 8 a.m. to 4, and there's people that come in at 7:30, you're welcome to flip your times about unless you're in a job that needs it, like the CX department, customer experience, answering phones at a specific time. If you're a waiter, you need to be there at a specific time, but ask your employer to work around your rhythms. Food preparation in advance. Don't leave this to chance. I wonder, should I get a KFC or a McDonald's? Don't leave shit to chance. Food is all prepped. Shout out to Emma who preps my food. I don't prep my own food. Time management, Emma's much better at that. So I had things, I will go in and heat that up, all macro counted, and I know exactly the calories for the next day. I know exactly how much protein and exactly how much stuff I'm eating the next day. Now that might be a bit extreme for you guys, but if you're putting shit into your body and you're leaving things to chance and saying, I forgot my lunch today. Well, I'll need to go and get a sandwich, and you've got 1,000 calories over and you pick at chocolate, it's going to affect your physical and mental health. So yes, I like to have my food planned. Likewise, self-care in my daily routine. My gym is planned. Shout out to Ryan from MTN Coaching. I don't know if you can see it here. I've got the gym today. Ryan is my personal trainer. I will get him on the podcast. Guys, let me know if you want my personal trainer to be sitting here telling you all these tips of what he does. Coaches clients much more physically successful than me. But he is my personal trainer, tells me, keeps me accountable. And there's my workout for the day. You can't see it, but I know exactly what exercises, how many reps. I know my personal best from the time before, and he will rip me to shreds on a Monday in my daily accountability check-in if I don't do it. So my calories are counted, my thing. This is self-care. It's not discipline as such. If I don't do those exercises and become stronger and fitter every day, I feel as if I'm going backwards. But if I'm progressing, Gillian McCluskey that sat on this chair earlier today, AIM from her coach, shout out to Paula Wingate who said this, be 1% better every day. So putting all these things into practice. Guys, I've not had a cold in 20 years. I just don't get colds, don't catch viruses off people. My immune system would never catch a virus off a child or somebody in the office. It's just, I see it as beyond that, but that takes time, and it's all part of my daily routine to make sure that physically and definitely mentally I'm prepared for this business. And guys, if I didn't do this, I would have fell apart. Try to build a massive business here, lots of working parts. So to build your franchise regions, to build your self-employment, to build your property businesses, to even be a good employee, you need to do that. So whoever asked the question about prioritizing self-care in your daily routine, work your routine to maximize your mental health and efficiency to deliver results for yourself or your employer. If you can deliver that, you can do whatever. You can go and walk the dog at lunch, take the kids to school, drop them off at school, work around your life as much as you can. You need buy-in from your employer for that. Okay. What are the common misconceptions about time management, and how can individuals overcome them? A nice simple answer to this, guys, is there's a difference between being busy and being productive. It's just, people are all busy. Everybody's busy. People are busy deleting emails. I get frustrated. The info at email, the main thing for Pillow, every time we delete a user, so there's hundreds of emails a day. There's people busy. Scott, I deleted all the emails in the inbox management. The email LinkedIn's, the notifications for LinkedIn, of which there's 50 a day. Click unsubscribe. That means that is never done, but people would be busy doing that. Deleting emails that you don't want to, notifications every time somebody likes a post, all nonsense. I'm going to use an example. I suspect this person would be watching. So it's not getting it MD, it's a difference. This is a misconception about time management and being busy. Somebody wants overtime of half an hour a day. They're saying, I can't manage my workload in my time. I would like half an hour overtime, please, Scott. That same person spends more than half an hour a day making tea for everyone in the office. So isn't that they're busy and need an extra half an hour? It's their time management. They're making fucking tea for everybody. They're making tea for the whole office. It takes more than half an hour a day. They don't need overtime. They just don't need to make tea for people. They're busy, so busy that I'm stressed. I can't manage the team. But they're making tea for half an hour a day. How did they stop that? One simple action. They would be more productive with half an hour less. Does that make sense? So the big thing for me, there is a massive difference between being busy and output. You want to focus on output, not on the time or how hard you believe you're working, because I guarantee you're not working as anywhere near. It's like I will go and do. When Ryan gives me my gym sessions, I said, well, that's the hardest workout I've ever done. I beat some PBs. I worked super hard. Did you try 100%? Yes. Ryan will do a personal coaching with me. That's why I don't go in and do personal coaching with him, because he'll rip me to shreds. He'll be like, that's 70%, Scott. You could lift more. You think you've tried 100%, Scott. He would get more out of me there. So there's a difference between what I believe is my efficiency and what he could get if he was there. A misconception is that being busy is good. I'll finish here, guys, move on. I used to think it's the entrepreneur's martyr syndrome. I can't take holidays. I don't have time, guys. I did 12 years of that. I don't have time for a holiday. I'm far too busy. I can't take a day off. And I can't. Turns out when I took 2 weeks off, the team did things beautifully. Being away from the business for 2 weeks meant things run better without me there. So entrepreneurs and people running about saying they're super busy, they believe it's a good thing. It's actually a bad thing. I used to think you were a martyr, you were an entrepreneur. It showed you were passionate. It's actually a negative. So I think that's a misconception, that being busy makes you good in some way. But being busy and running about and not being able to sit in a meeting without taking calls because you have no systems in place, I think it's a really, really bad thing, guys. And I was wrong for 3/4 of my business career. In fact, 4/5 of my business career, I had that martyr entrepreneur syndrome of being busy. Now I'd be embarrassed being super busy. Now I'm super productive. But to say, I can't get time off, I can't take a day out of my business and been working for 18 years and can't take a day off, you're not that important. It just means that you're not that efficient. So thank you for that question. Let me know if I'm missing any, Grace. There's some coming in. Could you provide some advice for those who struggle to set boundaries between their personal and development lives, professional lives, family, professional? So boundaries are a great one. What I would say is here, you need to speak to your family about this. So firstly, business and professional, speak to your family about this. You need to get their buy-in. By buy-in, I mean their agreement. I'm going to need to work hard, baby, for 2 years to get us a new house or to get the kids through university, whatever that is. But if you're working hard and not explaining that, then that might come across as you don't care, when actually you're doing it because you do care. Get agreement. Get times set out in advance. Again, I was bad for this. Emma would say to me, Scott, this is personal time. This isn't pillow time. This is a Saturday night and you're talking about business. So again, your partner needs to feel safe to communicate with you. You need to feel safe to communicate with them. I cannot go to that family event because I need to do this. And there's times when you will need to work in your professional life and your family need to accept that. There are times when your employer or clients will need to accept that you need to take some family time. So you need to be clear, firstly, with your family, because your career can work around that. But guys, I genuinely think you need buy-in from your family, and then speak to your employer. Family is important to me. I set a thing that I didn't, my mum and dad were never there for me. When I grew up, I wanted to take my kid to school every day or pick them up, one of the two. Could I work around? So get your employer understanding how important that is. So family buy-ins. A nice thing here is a communications statement. We get our franchisees to do this. As a franchisee managing properties, we're kind of in call 24/7 to a degree. We're here for hosts and guests. We've put the procedures for our team here to get the guest stuff, but for hosts, a nice example, when I was a property manager, I would get our team to say, here's a comms communication statement. Hi, Mr. Client, professional. Here's my personal life. I take Sundays off to reset, recharge, and refresh. Don't contact me about admin stuff on a Sunday. And admin, and 100%, owners would be phoning, saying, I've got a council tax bill from 2 years ago on a Sunday night. It's a fucking Sunday night. I'm going to resend you my com statement. I'm going to be very clear how and when you can contact me. We do a lot of training in this in Pillow, so I won't go on about it. And again, for me, my com statement, nice and simple. Phone the office number and leave a message with the team, or email me at Scott@Pillow Partners. If you message me on LinkedIn, on Messenger, or if you phone me, I'm never answering my phone because I'm in the middle of this. I'm not going to answer a phone call to talk about an owner's council tax bill. So my com statement is clear. Phone the office and leave a message with the team, or email me direct at Scott@Pillow. But I'm not going to answer phone calls. I'm not going to go into LinkedIn. I'm not going to go into TikTok and answer messages. So don't be upset if I don't get back to you. And there'll be people watching this saying, yeah, Scott messaged Scott on some obscure platform that he hasn't heard of and hasn't logged into for 2 years. I'm upset he didn't get back on a Sunday night. Guys, my com statement would be clear. All our team's com statements are clear. Give that to your employers. And again, the opposite. Say to your family, I need time to work on the business or work on my career during these hours. I ask, respect that you don't contact me unless it's an emergency. So loads of cool things we can do there. Loads of agreements. A defined space is a nice one. When I'm in here with the door shut, please leave me be. I got Emma, a little door hanger. One side says, pop in, I'm cool to chat. The other one says, busy, do not interrupt. Nigel Bottrell from the Entrepreneur Circle has a thing saying, do not interrupt unless building is on fire. He gives them out. We share that story in that book to the new people coming into Pillow in their induction. Setting a clear 60 minutes or 90 minutes in the morning and not being interrupted. Guys, just be clear with people. There's my room. If the door's shut, don't come in. And people will mess that up a few times, but be very clear. So it's all about communications. Loads of good ones here. And I'm going to finish with something very, very controversial here. Setting boundaries between professional and personal lives. If you have a partner stealing your dreams that won't let you build your business, get rid of them. What's more important? How many £100 million businesses could I build? Probably one in my lifetime. How many partners could I get? A lot. I could get a lot of partners, but I could not build £100 million businesses. I would never ever be with them that would steal my dreams. That says, Scott, you can't work. I want to watch Netflix on a Saturday. You can't go to London. So guys, my business and the things that we're creating and the things and the dreams and the aspirations I have, I do not believe a partner that would be of equal to me would steal my dreams, the same as I would never steal anybody else's dreams. I would not be whining and bitching if my girlfriend had to do stuff in business to build, to follow her dreams. It doesn't matter if I was sitting lonely and sad and upset we couldn't have a Valentine's dinner because she went to see clients. It isn't about me. I'm a partner. I want to help people achieve their dreams. So if somebody's not letting you build your business, get rid of them. This is controversial. I'm not saying split up families and leave kids without parents, but guys, if you're with somebody that's stealing your dreams, doesn't believe in you, wants you to sit and watch fucking TV and box sets rather than build your dreams, you're with the wrong person. And if you're happy to let that person steal your dreams, and there needs to be clear lines between your personal and your business life, and you're happy to put up with that, then on your head be it, your business is not important and that relationship's more important than a business. And that's totally fine, but you need to be at peace with that. So I'm moving on from that because that is controversial. People will hate me for that. Lovely questions, Grace. Let me know if I'm missing any here, because if there's questions coming in, I don't want to go past them. In a world filled with distractions, what techniques have helped you stay focused and productive when managing your time? Loads of techniques here, guys. Two minds to this. There's loads of techniques to use here. Number one, just be fucking better. We don't need techniques. We don't need to get into flow states and power poses and all this. Just be better is the first one. But here's some techniques I would use. Nigel Bottrell calls it your 90 minutes. Set clear distinctions. Do not be interrupted by anything in those 90 minutes. Get your environment here all set up. So focus time, I call it mission time. This is my mission of building the £100 million business. I'm not going to let somebody start asking me, not going to let somebody phone and try and sell me a photocopier. So I'm not going to sit and look at Facebook notifications and who's liked my Instagram post. I'm just never going to get involved in that shit. There's very little that I believe would interrupt my mission time. My partner, who I love, phoning me during my mission time. Well, I'm not answering the phone because whatever they've got to say, they'll text and say, emergency, the dog's been hit with a car, or the house is flooding. Well, even the house flooding, I would let fucking flood. I wouldn't interrupt my mission time for that. Building an £100 million business is important. So my uninterrupted time is there, unbreakable, as Nigel Borchel says. Unless the building's on fire, do not interrupt me. Pomodoro technique's my favorite one here, guys. Doesn't need to be technology because you'll get distracted with apps. Get a Pomodoro. I've got it at home. Little tomato timer. Set it for 25 minutes. Do not do anything else apart from one task. The one thing you're doing. Don't look at phones. Don't answer notifications. Don't answer emails. Don't open multiple tabs. Do not multitask. Pomodoro technique is the one and only thing you probably need for time management. It's the most effective thing. Focus uninterrupted on one task for 25 minutes. Take a wee 5 minutes, pee break, go and get coffee, repeat 4 times, then take half an hour break. The Pomodoro technique is fantastic. Never multitask. Again, studies have been done in this. We open that, really look into that in the training for the time management. I'll put the slide back up. The time management there, guys, never multitask. It's bullshit. Studies have been done. It takes you 2 minutes to redo that task. Even when I picked my phone up to talk about notifications, it threw me off. I should be looking at the camera uninterrupted. Do not multitask. One task uninterrupted. A nice dedicated space, I think, is great. This here, the team know they can come in and clatter about and make lunch, but they're not going to come in and walk past here because they know this is my podcast space. You might not have an office, you might have your kitchen table, but you've got it for your time. So a nice environment to work in is fantastic. No noise. Don't need to run and answer the buzzer all the time. Don't need to answer the communal phone or whatever. Guys, nice and simple. Your space, you control your environment, and that is like a jail. You don't let anybody in. Your comm statement, again, just be very clear with people, and that is your staff, that is your family, that is even your employer. Because I run over and want stuff done. I'm bad for interrupting, saying, the marketing team, hi Milo, can I get a new web page up? And the team are very good and say, well, yeah, but what they should say and what they are saying now, and they're going to say, no, Scott, it's not in the plan. We're not doing it. I'll put it in the plan. Let me get back to you. Oh, the plan means the sprint is this time, and Milo's very fucking good at this now. Rather than just doing what I say, he's going to say, no, I'm going to put that into the plan, Scott, and that's going to be next Thursday. Is that okay? And I'll say no. And he'll be like, well, that means this doesn't get done, and he'll articulate the thing. So the marketing team now will not let me interrupt them with distractions. I will put it into an Asana thing, and they will do it when they believe is the best time for the business. So even my own team are implementing this better than I do. No notifications in your phone, guys. I think I have notifications for the team app. That's it, and WhatsApp. Nothing else. I don't need notifications for any social media, and there's nothing that important you probably need notifications. Turn 90% of them off. You just don't need them there. It's all manipulate. It's all science. It's all neurology that they're trying to get you in, to get your attention, to get your little dopamine hits. Don't fall for it. You do not need notifications in 99% of the time. Guys, just control your distractions. Don't let them control you. That's why I was saying earlier, just be better. Don't need all these techniques. Just don't get distracted. And that sounds simple, but have that mindset. Moving on. Oh, good, not missed any. Thank you. How do you identify signs of burnout and take positive steps to prevent it? Firstly, guys, just listen to your body here. We know the answer to this. We don't need to go to psychologists or doctors to say. We know if we listen to our bodies when we are starting to feel ill. Probably not the right person to ask this because my answer would not apply to most people because I don't get stress or burnout. And if I start to feel it and think I'm getting a little bit overwhelmed, my thinking of this is, and I'll take a random thing like a teacher or somebody in a local authority office. One person will be off with stress for 6 months and it's too stressful, or a nurse in the NHS, whatever, all these careers. One person there, 2 people on a desk, one will be off with stress for 6 months. The other person will handle it without skipping a beat with it. So isn't that, I think it's personal brains. For one person to be off, and everybody knows people, that person's off for 6 months with stress and anxiety and all this, that, and the next, and it's too hard. The workload's too much, and I've got stress and burnout. Other person's just doing that. By the way, the other person that's sitting there is also doing their job and not skipping a beat. They're literally doing two people's jobs, half the workload of that person essentially, and they're fine. So that shows not necessarily the environment. There will be environments where that happens, but it's all about mental resilience. So I think we want to build that approach into life. Easier said than done, guys. And again, my answer there was started off with the prerequisite that won't apply to everybody. However, if I start feeling under the weather, trusting my body, I'm going to go to bed nice and early, switch the lights off and get 12 hours sleep. There's a thing called homeostasis. Things will just revert back to normal. You know, if you pull a muscle, you don't do anything, it goes back to normal. You get a cold, it'll go back to normal without drugs. They don't want you to know that, but you'll get back to normal quicker without taking any drugs with a cold than you will taking chemicals into your system. If you get a cut, it will heal. Homeostasis, the body will always kind of revert to the norm, to the baseline. So we let it do its thing. So again, if you're starting to get stress levels, that's not where you are normally. And if it is, we need to work to get that base level down. So look at homeostasis, go to bed nice and early. Guys, a nice thing here, studies have shown, we said the person off with stress, the person here that's buzzies off it, and a little bit of stress in your life is good. So when we start feeling a little bit of anxiety, we're programmed mental health. Oh, we need to take some me time and some self-care time or 6 months off. Guys, actually, if you look at studies who have said people that process the same stimuli differently and see it as a positive, as a superpower, those guys just excel. And I excel with a bit of pressure. Boring, normal admin, I make loads of mistakes. I'm a shit entrepreneur. But where there's a big problem to solve, where there's stress, where there's nobody else in the organization that can possibly do that apart from me, it's my time to shine. But I could break and curl up into the fetus position and go off with stress and anxiety. So read these studies, guys, and start reprogramming your brain to be bulletproof. Again, easier said than done. Read, refocus, calm the mind rather than looking at social media and ups and downs of things happening in YouTube shorts and reels, which keeps the mind active. We want to really calm that brain down. We want to get the parasympathetic nervous system back to normal, guys. Everything we see in life, even this podcast, with the way I'm talking and gesticulating and saying, well, you want to get rid of your partner, that's going to get your sympathetic nervous system up. The things I've said will trigger people by who's he to say that you shouldn't go off with stress and all this? Who's he to say that? It's easy for him to say. Your adrenaline will be starting flooding. You will start being upset. You've probably put comments in my social media already, been triggered by a comment online. All these things, every single notification, every single thing online, all the social media algorithms are there to get your attention, to get your sympathetic nervous system up, your adrenaline. Why? Because if we're at peace and at calm and you don't care and you're mellow and chilled like a Zen monk, like a Buddhist monk, nobody can sell you stuff online. You don't need drugs, you don't need supplements, you don't need all this stuff. You don't watch attention, you don't watch Netflix, you don't watch social media, hence you don't sell advertising. You are the enemy to these things. So calmness and peace, reading a book for $12.99, you can get 8 hours of serenity. A book is one of the best investments. They're going to ban them all, but one of the best things you can buy is a book, and one of the best things you can do for your mental health and to lower those stress and anxiety is sit and read, relax. By the way, I find it hard to read. I've got a big library of books. I've got so many to read. It's hard for me to go from this and phone calls and doing deals and speaking to the team and to relaxing and reading a book. Reading a book for 20 minutes is so fucking hard. Like, some people think public speaking's hard. I find that easy. It's like sitting here talking to you. But reading a book, that takes time and focus. There's things I'm saying that aren't easy, but I try to do it. Reading a book for me and focusing my crazy dyslexic brain for 2 hours, nearly impossible. I need to put a lot of effort into it. So we activate the parasympathetic, the calming nervous system. We flood our bodies. We flush out those adrenaline and all these cortisol things. We'll go into all the chemicals and the systems of the body. But guys, reading a book is a nice, easy thing. Resetting, jumping into nature, walking barefoot, doing some cold water exposure, walking. Guys, even going for a run, a really slow run, by the way, but going for a walk, and not having a headphones, not having a phone, leaving your phone at home, and even saying that terrifies me. Going for an hour walk without the phone, that is hard for me, but it really, really helps you. So many things. Take all the notifications off your phones, guys. You don't need these things. Just stop all that. Eat better. Put less chemicals into your body, because again, when you start spiking your insulin, I'm not going to go into diet, but you start fucking your body through loads of chemicals, or pumping yourself with coke and drink at the weekends, and then have the ups and downs and all that stuff. It's nearly impossible to be mentally resilient, Nasty. I've said it before, it's nearly impossible with all the things that we have, all the stimuli, our environment, all the shit chemicals that you've been fed, stuff that you're putting into your bodies. It's really hard to have that mental state of mind that's just totally calm. So put less chemicals into your body. And finally, I think just work on a great immune system. Just work towards being fit and healthy, and you won't ever get to that level. I would come into the end here, Grace. I don't know how many more we've got. That's a nice time. I'm loving the questions, guys. What role does goal setting play in achieving a healthy work-life balance? Goal setting, and what strategies do you recommend for effective goal setting? Again, there's been lots done in goal setting, and I don't want to regurgitate all the SMART goals and all this stuff, because that's been done to death. What new things, guys? For me, just you need a plan. You need to plan your time, otherwise things will just fall apart. So goal setting is fine, but you need to plan ahead always. We always need to plan ahead. We always need to have our diaries set up. I'm not going to go into SMART goals. Blocking time. We've spoke about the 90 minutes. Nigel Bottrell says, do not interrupt unless buildings on fire. My mission time. So having these things, going to bed at night, knowing what you're going to plan the next day as part of Pillow. We do all this, and you have coaches and mentors, lovely accountability partners as well. I'm missing out all the obvious stuff that you've heard before, but accountability partners. And the final part to this is that I want to say, the final comment is, be prepared to piss people off, to annoy people, because if you're going to achieve your goals and you're going to do things on your terms, you're going to piss people off. We said about, if I want things done on my terms, I'll go to the marketing team and ask them to do stuff, and they'll say yes, and it makes me happy. But they now know that's good for Scott, but it's not good for Pillow. What Scott wants here, I need to piss Scott off by saying no, but that's the bigger picture. So they've embraced that, and we've spoken about it. So Milo will say, no, Scott, piss off. No. and he's been prepared to tell me to piss off, because there's a bigger picture. It's not what Scott wants, because that's not right for Pillow. That suits Scott, but it goes against the plan of the marketing of the team. So for the marketing team to get things done, they're going to need to tell franchisees no. They're going to need to tell the team no. I want my property of the week promoted. No, because that doesn't go into the goals of Pillow, which is X, X, and X. Scott wants to run in and do something new because he's an idea. Great, Scott, you pay the wages, you're my boss, you own the business, but no, fuck off. I am not doing that. And the team are welcome to do that to me, because once they tell me that, they've set a very, they make a very, very good case. Scott, you've asked me to do this. That's not going to get done. Do you want to just break all the systems that you've created? No. So be very clear with people, but be prepared to piss people off. You're going to need to say no more than you say yes. There's a few more questions here. Keep going, Grace. Let's go. Let's just do the two more. Thank you. Question from Facebook. Can you share your thoughts on the impact of technology and social media on mental health and time management? Technology when it comes, and social media, to mental health and time management. Well, firstly, guys, I'll go for the positives here. You can do 10, let's say AI. You can do things, you can deliver 10 times the results with technology than doing it yourself. Think again back to the Industrial Revolution, when you could, then the Agricultural Revolution, where you plough fields rather than doing it by hand. You could get 100 times more crops planted, etc. And then the Information Age, all these things. So entrepreneurial revolution, we can get so many things done as entrepreneurs with technology. We can 10x what our outputs can be, or we can do things in 10% of the time that used to take us 10 hours, we can do in an hour. Guys, AI, it does things in 3 minutes that would take one person a week. You can replace a lot of people's jobs with AI. Now, I don't recommend replacing their jobs with AI. We utilize AI and make that their jobs as AI managers to get 100 times the output. So I don't think it will replace people's jobs. It's going to replace their roles. So social media is great to get marketing stuff out there. So the positives are you can reach a much wider audience rather than sending letters. So it's fantastic. The negatives, if you've read the book Zucked, it's about Facebook and how they manipulate the algorithm to get your attention, and you've saw the box set on, or the documentary, I think it's on Netflix. Guys, here's the truth about social media. You're being played. You're really, really been manipulated. And I don't say that in any conspiracy theory way. The algorithms are set up to sell advertising, to make money, to make these big companies like Facebook, YouTube, the maximum amount of profit. And unfortunately, that comes with your attention. And to get your attention, they know your attention there is much easier gained by controversy, by negativity, by happiness, by argument. They know that if they give you a nice little cat, oh, it's lovely, move on. You don't interact. But if you've got some political view or religious things or some wars happening, or you disagree with somebody, you're spending more time on that social media network. So social media in itself can be positive, but you need to use it. Don't let it use you. We're on TikTok, as I'd say, I've never watched anything on TikTok, and I don't ever intend to watch a thing on TikTok because I think that would be using me. I'd start looking at martial arts stuff. I'd start looking at dogs. I'd start looking at fitness and businesses and speeches and fitness tips, diet tips, life hacks. I'd sit and watch it. So I cannot be used by that. So I just refused not to do it. So you're not in control. When you're on social media, guys, 99% of you, including myself, we're not in control. So technology is brilliant, but again, it's destroying brains massively. And I think everybody knows this. You need to use it for what you want rather than letting it use you. So that's my thoughts on that. There's some great time management tools, but again, a Pomodoro timer, which is just a little thing that ticks, is as good as anything else you'll get online. Two questions like this. What resources or tools do you find most useful for tracking and improving your time management skills and overall well-being? I'll answer this in two things. I'll give you the tools that I use. I think we'll finish on this, Grace, and behind the scenes. I'll share all my apps and bits. I'll find out what they are. Number one here, you don't need apps for overall well-being, guys. Be better. It's a nice, simple thing. Just be better. You don't need to be, I want to be better via the medium of an app, and I've got a new app or a new thing and a new Google Chrome extension to be better at time management. Guys, we know what we need to do. Focus on one task individually, no multitasking for a specific period of time. Plan that time, get that time in the diary. We need a bit of paper and a pen and a Pomodoro timer. We need an old-fashioned kitchen timer, a pen and a diary is all we need. That said, there are some tools there I love using. Let me have a look, see what we use. Pomodoro. Now, there's Pomodoro. I have a Pomodoro thing on my phone. I don't use it because then I need to go into the phone to see the time, and it will alarm for 20 minutes. Pomodoro is the timer you set for the time that you want, and you work on one task uninterrupted. I have a Google Chrome extension. Just put Pomodoro timer, and it pops up and tells me 25 minutes, 5 minutes, fluid in and fluid out, jump back to the computer, 25 minutes. Before I do anything, I want 8 of those done in a day. I want 4 hours on my mission time. I've got tasks I want to do for 4 hours, and that's 8 Pomodoros. Well, 25 minutes, so near enough with 5 minutes break. So Pomodoro is absolutely fantastic. Some project management tools so that you can put in we use Asana at Pillow, but a lot of companies use Monday, monday.com, Asana. Again, they're all variations. A project management task and a task list. Guys, you need all your tasks in one area. Don't have some on your phone, bits of paper, diaries, laptop, iPads. Just have them all in one place. Don't just put tasks in. Put the times next to them so that you could have 10 tasks. You can get 5 of them done in an hour, and those other tasks are going to take you 40 hours. So you need the times. You need to break them down into 30-minute chunks so you can put them in your Pomodoro. Very, very simple here. For me, well-being, 2 apps. Let's check fitness ones. MyFitnessPal for tracking calories. I'm not advocating tracking calories, guys. I'm not talking about that. But you want to at least track calories for a couple of months to see what shit you're eating, because I was 100%. I don't need to track calories. Never did it until this time last year. I was shocked at just how much calories things have in it. A handful of nuts, 1,000 calories. I thought I was eating healthy if nuts had 1,000 calories. And I'm not advocating, I'm not going down the fitness buff health kick thing here, guys. This is about mental resilience. But count your calories so you get an idea of what's going in your body. Look and say, shit, that's fucking 40 grams of sugar. How can that be possible? How could I have just consumed 40 grams of sugar with 1 cup of juice? So you want to do that. Some gym fitness app. We really should be working on bodies, guys. I'm not fitness. I'm not a gym bunny by any means. I'm thin, I'm skinny. But again, I wish I'd done this earlier. I'd focused on martial arts and functional fitness and fighting. I wish I'd built my body to be stronger, because my back's just much better. I just feel much stronger. So some form of app where you can get progressive overload. And guys, if you want to see my personal trainer, I'm not going to cover this. I'll get Ryan to sit here and we'll cover this in more detail. Not just the fitness thing, but what I would like Ryan to talk about is how that affects business, because he's coached me in fitness, nothing to do with business, but that has made my business better. One of the questions is, do you prioritize, was it self-care during the day? By following Ryan's advice as a personal trainer for fitness has made my business better. It's going to give me working out 4 times a week and following Ryan's advice will make our hosts more money, and it'll get our franchisees bigger businesses, and it'll get our staff more pay rises. How can we equate me going to the gym to the staff getting more money? But we can. So an app to track it so you can get progressive overload, so you can hold yourself accountable, so somebody else can hold you accountable. Other apps, again, you can. What we teach our franchisees, and I'll finish by this, because the proposition of life-work balance, to finish it off, the proposition of life-work balance there is being able to build a perfect life and have a perfect business. Our franchisees can, and property managers, I suppose, as employees, they can do it anywhere in the world. They need a phone, a laptop, and a Wi-Fi connection. So that technology is brilliant for that, because never before lockdown changed a lot of the paradigms around employment. And I think the final part to this, guys, we spoke about it in the office with the team. I think the 9-to-5 office thing, or you're going to work 40 hours for a certain salary, is going to be gone with the rise of the gig economy. It's why the franchisee model works. It's why the commission model works for us at Pillow when we're delivering value for hosts. Our money is linked to what we do. If we don't get bookings and we don't ever do anything for a host, we will earn zero money. But the more efficient, the better we are, the more value we deliver. And whether we can make a landlord £2,000 a month for if they're paying us, if they make £2,000 a month and it takes us 40 hours or 1 hour, it doesn't matter to them, because we are delivering that maximum value. Same for franchisees. And I think when we're looking at careers, we're looking at businesses, we're looking at opportunities as entrepreneurs, and employees pitching stuff to their boss. What could you say to your employer to deliver X amount that's not linked to your time? What could you deliver and say, salespeople, it's already there. If I sell 3 of those products, can I get 60 grand a year? Yes. Well, does it matter if you sell spend 1 minute in that or 100 hours? It's that proposition works for both parties. They know it's somewhere in the middle. So if you're building a life work balance, your proposition and your output linked to money, get people's agreement. And I think that is how the future of work's going to be going on. Now, I say that the future of entrepreneurship and business will be linked to outputs as opposed to time constraints and bum on a seat, the 9-to-5. It's like, what you will do 40 hours a week or for X amount of salary. I think for businesses, it's going to be linked, and some employees, self-employed, will be linked to, you're going to get X amount of salary for these deliverables. You can do it in your pajamas. You can do it for Spain. You can do it while patting the dog. You can do it for the bath, or you can do it in the office here and get the culture, the environment. And you can do it in 40 hours, or you can do it in 20. Why wouldn't if I'm paying somebody to do X, I'd want them to work half the time, do it in 20 hours, deliver the same stuff. Then they've got 20 hours for their life. They've got double the free time. They're delighted. They're not ripping me off. They're working for half for those deliverables there. So I think that's the way business will go. For employment, very, very hard for that to happen because there will be people there and putting rules in place that say that can't be the case. So there's employment law and different bits and bobs to say, hi, there's laws to protect employees' rights. So that's a little bit more difficult to navigate with employees. So that's us coming up for an hour, guys. This is a tiny, tiny fraction of the training. There's 8 hours of this that we do on the time management training. A lot of the time management encapsulates what we've spoken about with mental health here, and building resilience. When we're teaching people at Pillow, one of the things in the very first day, before we go to lunch in the onboarding training, is there's certain things as a property manager, when you're an employee with Pillow or a franchisee, we call them success factors. The property management side is the factor least likely to be attributed to your success. Why? Well, we can train you to be a property manager. I can tell you exactly what to do to be one of the top property managers in the UK for short-term rentals. We can teach you. We can give you the systems, the tools, the software. We can do absolutely everything. So that isn't a success factor in being a good property manager, because that can be taught. It's the softer skills and mental resilience, the way we approach it, the way we look at problem solving, the success factors here, no matter how good a property manager or insert X career, if you're going to be off with stress, you don't get a chance to do that. If you're going to be physically unhealthy and off sick all the time, if one person saying something on the internet is going to trigger you and upset you, you're never going to lead a nice, mentally calm life, a happy, content life. So when we teach things, it is things like time management, it's things about communications, communicating with your teammates, not even conflict resolution. We don't have conflict because we communicate very well here. We all know what each other's thinking. So the skills and the success factors for any employee, entrepreneur, business person, or franchisee with us isn't property management, because that's a given. It is things like time management, health, mental well-being, communication skills. So these are the things that I think are massively important, and they all work back to the title of today's Q&A. Thank you guys for all the questions there. The evolution of life-work balance, and it's going to be a very, very interesting year for us here. I'd love your comments. Guys, if people have done this and are a year ahead of me, please let me know after the show here. Put the comments in, pop me an email, and if you would love to come on and discuss it, if you're an expert, because I'm not, pop in. We can do it live here in Glasgow or online. I'd love to have you as a guest. I'd definitely love your thoughts on this. Have a fantastic day, everyone. Thank you for your time.